check it real quick. So I'm gonna have my co-pilot come on too. So it'll be the three of us. He he's on Reddit. He is a yeah, he's the guy who watches. So what he does is hey, right, right, exactly. So he checks the audio, video. He asks questions, and he just makes sure everything's not gonna, right. Right. Well, that's thing. So yeah. So what we'll do is we'll do a front-loaded remote view task. Who do we get the best at? So this is a front-loaded. I can't even see that. My pins are my good broad pins are wearing out, and my little pins aren't hacking it. So front load. Okay, so what we want to do is who do we ask, or who where can we get the best? Where is the best info? And who do we ask? Meaning, what scientist? Who do we ask? Yeah. So we can go with. Well, my theory is the fact that this event's already happened. My theory is the fact that there's going to be precursors. And one of the things in California, when I lived in California, I knew earthquake, big shake was coming because there's lots of little shakes. So there's like a little buildup, and then all of a sudden, boom, we have this massive 6.4. And sure shit, I was right. Um, so we're looking for precursors. Now, we're looking for volcanic events. We have two of them on very close to where that place is. So there's volcanic events. We're looking for swarms. There's three of them. We're looking for scientists, and geo. Yeah, geologists. Yeah, yeah. And then we're also looking for dimensional help. Now, you're gonna love this one. Well, here's the deal about here's the deal about earthquakes, right? Earthquakes produce just an absolute ton of energy, absolute enormous volumes of energy. Earthquakes are very popular with UFOs. Very popular with UFOs. Anywhere there's a big earthquake, you have tons of UFOs before the event, during the event, and after the event. So now, the easy way to do this is to look up recent UFO sightings over which landmass. Has there been a swarm of UFO sightings over any of those areas? Has there been any? Right. Well, so I mean, somebody can do a quick Google search and find out, hey, Japan's being visited on this area over this time, yada yada yada. Uh, I'm sure there's UFO people that watch geo satellites. The geo satellites track the Earth, right? And what they do is they take pictures every second, and as they fly over a particular area, they're watching for particular indicators. A lot of people use those for UFO watching. So basically, using the geo tracking, they're using it as a huge antenna to geo watch for UFOs. We could literally take that data and say, hey, look, there's a cluster of UFOs in this area right now. Why? Why are they there? Um, little things like that, I think, are going to make a difference. Okay, how long does watch it? Okay, so audio test. Okay, so my co-pilot's here. Yeah, my old headset crapped out, so I had to switch over to these. And now I can't listen to my music. My co-pilot asked why my headset sounds different. So now I can't listen to my music on my headset, which really just makes me very sad. So it's me, you, and the co-pilot. All right. So when co-pilot, if you got any questions, just go ahead and ask away. Between the three of us, we'll figure this out. Um, I'm going to get back there. Okay. So that was my thought. Is these are people, these are things that we can do ourselves. No, no mystical, no mumbo jumbo. We just look at the given data and we figure it out. Now we want to go with. I want to look at a particular thing. What would be something I could remote view that would actually give answers? So now we have to look at how, and now we're down to the hard part. How do I do this in such a way that is credible, and I'm looking for data that we can use easily, I guess, because most of my data is in small bits and it's really, I mean, it's very hard to um, real life use it. So what I guess I could do is look for, how about look for locations? How about we look for location? How about, I don't know, location of, sure. So we want to look for the impact. All right. So I'm gonna fake this in real quick. Let me fake it in. Just so you guys can watch what I'm doing. Earthquakes. Go live. Okay. Okay. So if you guys can see that, yeah. Okay. All right. So there's that little square. So I'm gonna fake in the island of Japan. Okay. Let me zoom down to it. Yeah. Okay. So what we're looking for is we're looking for, that goes down, that goes up, that goes over. There's islands. Okay. So there's the main. There's Tokyo. Okay. And then yeah. All right. So we got kind of the rough idea. So what we're looking for is the concentric wave pattern. Um, we're looking for the concentric wave pattern on the or on the Japanese islands, right? So down here is going to get hammered. You guys can see that, right? No, you can't see that. All right, let me get rid of some of these screens here. There we go. No, it's okay. I just want to do this right there. I just needed a quick look at the island. So everything I'm looking at right here tells me that the bubble is going to look like this. It's going to be coming in from the south. I mean, this is what this is what it feels like. There's going to be kind of like a ricochet effect, and then it's going to go up the coastline. It's going to nail this island, and it's going to go. So the other thing it's going to do is, as it comes into behind Japan, the coastline goes like this, right? It kind of craters in, and then there's this big opening, and then it gets tight again, right? So it gets tight up toward the island here. So this wave, this is kind of like a double whammy, right? So the wave comes in like this, really tight, gets really high, spreads out over this area, right? Doesn't do much damage here initially, splashes up here, rebounds back to here, rebounds, 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 rebounds. So this whole area right here is going to be just devastated from the damn wave going up and back, up and back, up and back, up. So this is Japan. Yeah, this is Japan right here. Right. So the earthquakes. My view of the earthquake as it stands right now is down here. So whatever this is going to just basically roll up the island like that. So anything on the south facing coastline will get hammered. Anything that's facing any fjords or harbors that are facing north won't be hit nearly as hard. I mean, it'll still get hit, but not a direct impact. The direct impact will be on the shores that are facing south, right? So as it rolls up, it affects those hard. This area, no, I was just going to say that this area in here gets hammered from every direction. Yeah. So the this is the China and Russia. There's Russia up here. So Russia's going to get yeah. So Russia's going to get devastated too. But my my deal with this is the shock waves are going to start here. Basically, there's going to have a huge earthquake. There's going to be maximum impact down here. The wave is going to come up here. Now that's not even counting the damage from a 9 point. That's just the beginning. Okay. So you do understand that Tokyo is going to be shaking for like 30 minutes, and not only that, it's going to be raising in height and falling in height by 15, 20 feet. The whole plate is going to be jumping up and down. That's why Tokyo is going to get devastated. The water coming on shore, the water coming on shore will go farther inland every time that plate drops and rises. When the plate drops, the water rushes in. When it rises, it falls back, only to meet more water coming in from the tsunami. And then just take a bowl of Jello, throw it on the floor, and jump on it. It's going to be exactly like that. Yeah, it's going to be devastating. So the, the Ring of Fire is a very mobile thing. People don't realize the whole it's going to ring like a bell. And when it rings like a bell, there's going to be a lot of release in a lot of different areas. It won't just be that one tsunami. There's going to be multiple tsunamis. Um, her prediction is very good. It's just I don't know when the timeline is. And you can see that California, Alaska, and down here by the New Guinea and whatever these little islands down here. I don't even know what islands are. Suava, and I think that's part of New Guinea. But anyways, very active. This plate line is just going to release, and Indonesia is absolutely going to get toasted. It's active. You have active volcanoes. There's a good chance that whatever's activity right here happens is either going to be in one of these two. It's going to be in one of those two areas, and possibly this near this volcano near Shanghai. And can you imagine the devastation if it is that volcano near Shanghai, right? You're talking about a major city. Both Beijing and Shanghai and Hong Kong will be absolutely 100% devastated. Their infrastructure will be absolutely washed away. There will be nothing left. They'll have no seagoing capability for the foreseeable um, 6 months. They'll get it done and they'll get it fixed, but man, it'll devastate. Um, so while Japan gets hammered, so will they. Beijing's going to get absolutely hammered. I couldn't. The devastation in a very small area will be. Yeah. So the right. So in the there's a couple videos in that I watched on the 2011 tsunami as the tsunami was rising in Japan. The people of Japan were fleeing and they were taking really good videos of the devastation. And one of the things they took pictures of was the pictures of all the um, it was all the propane tanks and freon tanks and refrigerant tanks and natural gas tanks. Natural gas is lighter than water. So now you have floating bombs as they leak, and if they blow up, or if the gas is released and they catch on fire, they'll blow up. And then the ammonia. If ammonia hits the water, it's going to just instantly cause massive clouds of ammonium hydrous ammonia. And I've been hit with ammonia in the air. I mean, just raw ammonia being dumped over on a meth lab. And let me tell you, it's painful. If you get hit with a solid wall of that stuff, because the tanks are huge, for the freezing and industries. Yeah, no, it'll be devastating. Absolutely devastating. So if you're stuck in a high rise, right, in a city, and the harbor gets wiped out. The harbor has a lot of freezing containers. The freezing containers have these huge containers full of ammonia. Let's say you're in a high rise. If you're in a high rise, you take chlorine, ordinary chlorine, and you can mix it with the towel. And I'm pretty sure the chlorine in the towel will counteract the ammonia. I can't remember if that's. I know there's something you can put on the towel to stop the ammonia from leaking in, but you have minutes to stop all the gases from getting into your apartment. Otherwise, you're going to die. You can't go outside. You can't run. It's just going to be this huge wall of death. Sure. Yeah, I don't remember what all I said on the videos. Uh, that was some time ago. Yeah. It, it'd be funny is if it's going to be a devastating event, right? But what if there's a small child that becomes a center of some sort of video thing? So the rest of the world sees this horrible event. This child becomes, the poster child for this tragedy. How funny would it be is that I actually saw the poster child for the upcoming tragedy? Because that's in Indonesia, they had a couple people that became the face of the Indonesian tragedy. Yeah, yeah, Right. Here's this poor child stuck in the mud. Yeah, look at the child. Exactly. Yeah, everybody feels sad because yeah. So watchers, huh? Who were the watchers? Hmm. Wonder who the female was. She feels like a no. Well, so you're saying female energy, and now what I'm picking up is there's a female politician. So it's a governor. It's a governor or a leader, female leader. So it's an older female leader. She yeah. Well, that it doesn't matter. So what I'm looking at is a I'm looking at a leader of um, something in that I wonder what city that is. It's possibly Tokyo. So I'm looking at somebody in charge of a major city with a business suit, and she's in charge. She's older. She's got to be in her 50s, 60s. Let's say 55, 60. Let's say about 55, 60, because she is a little older. She's dealing with a lot of crap from a lot of people, but she's trying to plan ahead. She's trying to get something done before she's. I think she's actively taking stock in what this upcoming event. Now she doesn't know for sure that it's going to happen soon, but she's trying to get what she can done, and then after it happens, she'll survive, and then she'll jump in and try to reorganize. So whoever this female with energy is, she's an older lady. She's her job or title is I want to say it's something to do with either transportation or it's either transportation or city construction. It's something to do with the infrastructure of the city. So I have no clue how they organize things over, but she is a number one top dog in this this section of Tokyo. It'd be kind of interesting to go through and see if I can recognize her. She's got a very distinct look, uh, but she's actively planning for more major, and I mean like big and major shakes. So, good night, Ma. Love you. So that would be interesting to look at. See if I can find her and recognize her. Because if I can find her and recognize her, then I can actually do a remote view on her. How cool would it be to track down a politician and then do a remote view on the politician? Ooh, I gotta check my phone. Where's my phone? Do a actual remote view on a politician to see if they are truly the one who's going to pull people out of the mud. Um, good leaders. That's what I'm. Right, right. That's what I'm saying. She's going to stand out from the crowd. She just, ooh, I just got tingles. I just got chills. Anyways, my My co-pilot just did say that if you take ammonia and you pour it on a rag with no, if you take bleach and pour it on a rag with ammonia coming underneath the door, it's going to make chloramine, which is a poison gas. So I guess that would be bad. Don't do that. So this is an official recommendation from Screaming into the Night. Don't pour chlorine onto a rag and shove it under your door to stop ammonia gas. Bad. This is bad. Chloramine is not to be played with. So I don't know what you put on the wet rag to stop ammonia from coming in. There's got to be something that you can dump on there to stop the ammonia, or at least slow it down as it's coming underneath your. The funny thing is ammonia's got a very distinct color, so you'll be able to recognize it. Just don't do chlorine. That's bad. Uh, that's yeah, and that's probably the watchers. So and that's what I keep saying is, I mean, you'll have watchers and you'll have the UFOs. So you'll have two sets coming in. The UFOs, I don't know about. I don't know about that. It's one of those pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. We'll watch, but you're gonna pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Now, back in many cases, they did talk about. I'll have to check. It was back east. They were talking about butterfly men helping. There was some major catastrophe. So because it's going to be devastating, because it's going to be a very large impact area, maybe the butterfly men will come in and help. I don't know. It would be good to think that yeah, there's beings out there that are helpful. But as far as I'm concerned, every man for themselves. Get your boots on. Get your ass in gear. Don't wait for help. Help others. Get out. Yeah, it's gonna be devastating. But yeah, this lady that's going to be assisting in Tokyo. I had to look for the one that's so in the harbor, the big harbor port of what port is that? Hold on, it's a China port. Let me look at that China port real quick. So I'm looking at Beijing. Beijing's going to get slapped silly. So let me look at Seoul. Let me look at Seoul. Seoul's going to take a hit. Who's going to be leading the charge? So Seoul's going to get Seoul's going to get hit, and they're going to take a slapping. Um, the question is, that's South Korea. The question is what's going to happen there? All these coastal cities are going to be devastated. Anyways, the devastation there is going to be extreme too. And again, there's going to be city leaders that just stand out, that actually have resources on hand. And I don't know where it's coming from. South Korea, North Korea. Oh shit, North Korea. Excuse my French. I did not realize that. Okay. So so there's a river that goes up from Seoul down to the ocean, and I just have this wall of water just raging up that river. There's going to be a huge wall of water. I mean, it's gonna my what I'm looking at is just both sides of that river for miles up that river past Seoul will be flooded. And so, you're talking about industrial gases being released. If you do a Google map look at South Korea, you'll see what I mean. Yes, yes, the sea bubbles from gases being released from the volcano. You do realize that there's underwater volcanoes all the time. So, oh crap. Let me do a quick pull up on Google Map here. Yeah, when you have a volcano, oh, when you have not a volcano, when you have yeah, a volcano under the sea, gases are released. The gases are, the sulfur dioxide, the carbon dioxide, all the stuff that's bubbling out of the lava at the time. So you may not see anything on the surface of the ocean from this volcano that's raging underneath, right? But what's going to happen is you're going to see bubbles, millions of miles, not millions of miles, millions of uh, acres of bubbles, and the bubbles will pop up and just, if there's a boat on top of it, the boat sinks immediately. They've shown that in the Bermuda Triangle that when methane gas is released underneath the boat literally will pop underwater and then pop back out after the water rushes back in because the bubbles don't carry the weight of the boat. And if the gas is methane or carbon dioxide, well, that's toxic, and you die. So the whole boat will die. Everybody in it will die immediately. Um, there's so many cool ways to die. What were we looking for? We were looking for that volcano. Okay. Anyways, so what was the question? The question was, what was the question? Oh wow, there's that volcano that was going off. Okay, so I got Google Earth pulled up now, so now I'm kind of looking at Google Earth. That's what I think. Right, and that's what I think we should do. Is we should do a background question of who would be the best person to talk to. Well, how about estimates? I mean, think about it. If you have precursors happening now, then the estimate, of course, is going to be 1 to 3 months. A precursor, like we have a swarm of volcanoes, we have these conditions that are rising, we have swelling of the ground. We know the earthquake is going to go off. We don't know how big it's going to be. So now we need to find out the person we can ask. So, on that note, who would we ask? Let me get rid of. Let me take a picture of this and get rid of this. 9159. And I got to check with Copilot. Would all that gas kill the fish above it? Yes. Gas would kill the fish. So you'd have a massive, massive fish kill above the. In fact, you may not see the bubbles, but you see the dead fish. So there you go. If you have a massive fish kill, which is experienced frequently, that is an indicator that there is an explosion and a gas release underwater. So that would be a great. Wow, that's freaking phenomenal. Think about it, right? You want to know when this is going to happen. There you go. All you have to do is look for fish kills. Look for news events that said there's been a fish kill. This the bubbling of the gas. The fish are dying. You have your first indicator. We already have a swarm. Now we got to look for fish kills. Um, wow, I did not even think about that. That's pretty good. Anyways, yeah, yeah. He has really pertinent questions. So this is why I love having him on here. And he right. He makes sure that I'm not picking my nose or anything really gross, and checks my audio. It works out really good. So, well, we'll do a multi-view. We'll just kind of put it on both boards. So, who to ask and deadline. latest. It's funny. So when I look at who to ask, right? We want to know who would be the best guy to ask. And I keep looking out a window. So there's a window right here, and I have monitor, 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 monitor. I have computers, and I have computers, and I have this little bitty window, and out this little bitty window, right? This is whoever this is sitting in a very small dark room. Well, I shouldn't say dark. And he has this beautiful view of the ocean. He's looking out of a boat window, and it's a very small window. And he's got all these charts and things just running full steam. Okay, so he's on a boat. He's on a boat. How big is the boat? So the boat is a survey boat. So let's just say let's say the boat's maybe 100 feet long, maybe at 120, 100 to 120, 120 feet long. So it's a very small boat. Um, what is this? Private? Is this okay? So is this guy private? Is he for oil? No. Minerals? Is he for monitoring? Is he for I don't know, what else do you do on a boat? Oil, minerals, monitoring fish, oils. Um, he's a private individual. He's monitoring geology. So he's monitoring something um, in a particular area. Well, so what I need to do is I need to look at the screens. I need to see what the screens are saying. So I'm looking at the screens. He's got a lot of data up on the screens. It and for whatever reason, I keep getting underwater shots of steel, like legs. It's almost like he's looking at a oil derrick, but I don't think it's an oil derrick. It's just these underwater pipes that are maybe a submersible. So this person has a submersible taking pictures, but I don't know if the pictures are of the submersible itself or a structure that is he's looking at. So the person who is possibly a geologist or monitoring guy, possibly minerals, right? Is taking pictures of something. My question would be, what would he take pictures of? What would his job be? What's on these screens here? He's got data flowing in, and he's part of a group that monitors. They don't work anything. They just monitor everything. So I wonder if they're monitoring like an oil rig or checking to make sure there's no leaks or I just don't know if there's any oil rigs there. Um, oh, I want to tell the co-pilot. I don't know what was the name of the. It was Ryo Tatsuki. 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 Okay, so it was Ryo Tatsuki. This is her prediction for a massive 9-point earthquake. The seas will bubble, and the Tokyo will crumble and there'll be massive tidal waves, and it's probably a 9 point or bigger. So that's her prediction for July, and which is really cool. Now, what I'm trying to do is I'm literally trying to find out who would be the best person to ask, not about a prediction, but about the actual events surrounding the prediction. Who's the best person to look at for answering our questions is when, to get a timeline, a deadline, when this would be something happening. And this is the guy to ask because he would have the precursors all dialed in, especially with if he's monitoring the seabed, he'll actually get to see the seafloor rise. He'll get to see the start of the gases being released, and then he'll have a much more clearer picture than anybody else. The data. What is this data he's looking at? So it looks like one of them's possibly side sonar or I wonder if they're doing a survey. One of them feels like side sonar. One of them's just raw data. It's got pluses and minuses. It's got flow rates. It's got charts. It's got not charts. It's got like how you watch a gauge and the gauge goes up and down. Right? It's got numbers that fluctuate. And this one's got memos and notes and chat coming in. It's almost like the crew has a chat line coming in. So server tower. This is I don't know what this is. So yeah. Um, hey, Phil's Italian. Yeah, it's weird. He feels like a little swarthy Italian. He's all Italian American, Italian Chinese, Italian Japanese. He's mixed race. He's got dark hair, short, stocky. I think he's Asian of some kind. So Italian Asian, um, intelligent, schooling, education, company that he works for. I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what company he works for. His boat, though, is very distinct. And it does have a rover. It's not the big one, it's one of the smaller ones. So, um, okay. All right, deadline. What kind of deadline? Oh, excuse me. I don't know, man. How would I find deadline? I mean, what would I look for a deadline? Am I looking for if it's going to happen, when it's going to happen? I mean, what do I look? This this person's going to have the precursors, so he won't know that there's an actual event. He's going to have the precursors and say, yes, this is happening. So the deadline is more along of when it will happen, or if it'll happen in our time thing, I guess. I don't know. That's why I'm kind of wondering. So yeah, it's in the next 3. Yeah, so I mean, exactly, and that's kind of what I'm looking for is who would have the best idea of when this should happen. Let's see it. He's not going to know until he gets the data. So I'm just kind of wondering if we can come up with a deadline of what the event's going to be. I guess what I should do is just try this separately and actually see if I can get some good tunage, and then see if I can put deadline on task. The task is deadline, and whether it's this month or next month, it doesn't matter. We're just trying to find a more better window of, we know it's going to happen. We just don't know when. My they are, but that's what I'm saying. He's not going to tell us what the overall is going to be. He's going to say it's going to happen this time. This will let go. When this lets go, it will be big because these indicators. He's going to say the indicators are this amount and they reflect this result. I mean, if you have a full scale Yosemite Valley explosion underwater, it's going to create a seismic event. It's going to create a mess. But if you have a Mount St. Helens event underwater, nobody's going to know. And nobody's going to know because nothing's going to happen up top. You'll get hummus. Who cares? It's like nobody's going to care. Anyways, the co-pilot asks, Ryo Tatsuki is the title of the video, July 25th. You mean in the next 3 days? Yes, the next 3 days. Ideally, this event would not happen, or if it did, at a much lower magnitude. The problem is the event's going to happen, but it may not happen uh, in the next 3 days. The event's going to be devastating. Now, the problem is there will be smaller earthquakes in the next 3 days, so we don't know if it's. See, I mean, you see what I mean? Because the event, regardless, nature always loves repeating herself, and there's been some hellacious, terrible earthquakes and tsunamis, and that's what she's calling out. So that, right. A lot of guys, right? A lot of guys predict earthquakes. I like the guy who predicts earthquakes using the solar chart, where he looks at the how close the sun and the earth and the moon are. You're literally talking about a gravitational pull, which is deforming the planet. The likelihood of an earthquake during a certain parameter when millions of tons of water are cycling in and out of an area will affect the earth. Well, of course it will. I mean, that's a given. I mean, good God. In my region alone, I have the Puget Sound. The Puget Sound raises and falls 20 feet. I have 20 feet of water that rushes in and out of a particular bay. How much is that going to affect the stress on the ground? It's going to be huge. And every time that happens, every time that water cycles 20 feet, I get rumblings. There are very low rumblings as the two plates go underneath each or go over and under each other. So I'm yeah, 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 right. And I right? Because right, 'cause my, my deal isn't the fact that it's a prediction and she's guessing that it's going to happen in 15 years. My deal is this is an event that will happen over the course of somebody's lifetime, and there are indicators that are going to show when it happens. So are these indicators prevalent? That's my, I point, yeah, point me in the right, point me in the right direction. That's all I'm asking. And the sad thing is it may not happen. If it doesn't happen, that's a great thing. But if it does happen, that's really sad. And well, don't you, yeah, but don't you live in San Diego? Yeah, yeah. When you say it's going to be sad, well, you live in San Diego and you're going to get slapped. I mean, you're going to get slapped really hard. You do realize that, right? No, no. If there's a 9 point on the Ring of Fire, you are not going to be okay. You are going to be out of food, out of water. You're going to be devastated because the Ring of Fire, you are sitting on the plate where it connects, and you have a friggin' fault line that goes right by your house. And the fault line is connected to the fault line across the way, and that is going to ring like a bell. It's going to be just like a hammer hit, and you can hear that go all the way around. You are going to be devastated. I-5 is going to be toast. Plan ahead. Start prepping now. You do prep, right? Really? All you need is all you need is water. You should be okay. Just make sure you've got one of those bathtub buddies that the water. You had 65 gallons. It sits in your bathtub. It holds 65 gallons of water, and it's just a plastic bag, and it's this big, and it's like $20 on Amazon. Stick that under your bed. The minute it happens, the minute the earthquake stops, you fill up your water with whatever you can. You throw a couple tablets in there, and you seal it up, and you'll have 65 gallons of water. So it's kind of a no-brainer. What do you mean? What do you mean past? It feels like he's actually out there in the ocean right now. This feels like a current event. He's not looking for the earthquake. He's not looking for anything to do with this prediction. He's looking for markers of some kind for whatever this work is that he does. He's going to find indicators, and these indicators will be significant enough where he calls more people in and says, "Hey, look, this is happening here," and then it's gonna spread like this. So whatever he finds goes to three other people, and then it just kind of spreads out. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps again. Sure. If we can get in the chain of his dispersal, then we'll be right in front of knowing exactly when it happens. But we have to figure out where his chain is. We have to get into his. You know what I mean? We're outside the chain. He's going to release the information. The information is going to be given to everybody at some point. The problem is there's a strict chain that he will follow. If and we have access to one point. We can. It's kind of like it's kind of like a. So they take the data and they release it to people who buy it, but they also release it to like a monitoring site, a site that takes for nature. It's a nature. I wonder if it's a nature. it feels like a nature collection. It's where it's where people like him dump raw data, and then the scientists can pick through it. So the colleges have this raw data dumped on them, and I don't know what it's called. It's some sort of college net. They have raw data dumped from people on boats who are doing these particular kind of activities, and to allow the universities and colleges, raw data on the natural aspects of life, the geology, the sonar uh, results, and there's a word for it, and I can't remember what it is, but the universities have this little side access to his data. It's going to go to there, and that's where we should be standing in line. Once we find it, cool. But again, I don't know how much that's going to help us because we can't directly get a hold of him because I have no clue who he is, which is seriously frustrating. I got to get better at what I do. I mean, I really need to get better. Um, it's yeah, exactly. It's like I can get bits and pieces, but I can't get a full on. I can't grab this guy and I can't shake him and I can't say, hey, where are you? Where is this boat at currently? Who are you? Glasses. He's got glasses. Gray beard. So he's about 45 years old. He's got a gray beard. He's got like multiple doctorates behind him. He's highly educated. He's got many years college education. He's I I don't know who he is. He's saying I should have used that hot coal to spell out his surname. I might actually try that. Actually, I think what I'll try to do is the next couple of days I'll try to do. What was the one thing I was supposed to take a look at? Um, yeah, there was something I was going to take a look at independently. It just kind of I can't remember what it was. Something to do with the timeline. See if I can do just a very gear up with good music and try to do just a simple one look at the timeline. That's what it was. I was going to try to look at the timeline. So I think what I'll do is try to look at the timeline, see if I can spell out his surname. So timeline and surname. That'd be kind of cool. Okay. We went up to Mount Rainier. Yeah. So we physically went up to Mount Rainier. We were about a half a mile from Paradise. It was that's where the snow park is. We were just about a half mile from Paradise when we turned around. But on our way up to Mount Rainier, I'm looking at a live volcano. This is a volcano that is actively live. It had a swarm roll through real recently, so we've had a cluster of earthquakes up on the volcano, and I'm looking at this massive mountain and the glacier that's sitting up on top, and I'm looking at how devastating it's going to be as this wall of dirt and debris and rock and stuff comes sliding down with all the water from that glacier as it melts. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't move far enough away from the Nisqually River. Oh, and if it goes down the Carbon, I'm still screwed. Oh, that's going to be a lot of friggin' water. So if the west, yeah, well, I don't know if a boat would survive, but if the west side of the volcano blows, I'm in for a rough ride. That mountain is so awesome. Oh my God. If you ever come up here, man, I got to take you for a drive. We just can't do it on the weekend because it's too crazy, but man, it's beautiful. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. All right. Oh, no problem. Thank you. Thank you for letting me do it, man. I'll catch you later.